Villagers look so cool, so let's take a look at all their various skins. Villagers have gotten an absolute overhaul, and now it's time to take a look at all of the various different skins for all of the various different biomes, even the ones not implemented yet in the snapshots. So here we are inside of Minecraft, and I have the coolest command block contraption for you guys to check out all of the various villager skins. So first up here, all of these command blocks will change the profession of the villager, and then back here they will change the biome that villager spawns in. So if you want to take a look at a desert Fletcher, there you go. If you want to take a look at a desert Cleric or Armorer or Weaponsmith, that's what they look like. If you want to change the biome, this is the Weaponsmith, right? So you can take a look at the jungle Weaponsmith, the snowy Weaponsmith, the taiga Weaponsmith, the savanna Weaponsmith. Very, very cool stuff. On the first row, it goes from farmer all the way to nitwit. And even if there is nothing applied, that is as well a trait that you can have. So let's switch to plains. Plains is kind of the default. People normally recognize what a plains villager looks like. And the plains villager, really the default situation is that they have the brown jacket and a green hat, which from far away can kind of look like a zombie villager if you just kind of briefly look at it kind of quickly. So be aware. Now, what's interesting is all of the professions obviously add a new layer on top of that, except if you were to mistype one of the professions. So right here I have farmer, blah, 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 blah. If you do farmer, this is correct. So if I implement that, that's what the farmer looks like. But if I was just to do one thing wrong, like use a capital F instead of a lowercase f, boop, now you get a weird random non-profession. This is what the nitwit looks like. This is what a non-profession looks like. So this is basically the base skin of whatever biome they are before a profession is layered on top of that. So we're looking at the plains base skin. Here is the desert base skin. So the desert skin adds these crazy little sleeves, adds a green jacket with an apron and a headband on a green hood, and some shoes that have a little bit of orange in them. And once again, we can look, you know what? Let me do this 1 second. There we go. So we have one right close by. So this is plains. This is desert, and this is savanna. So shoes change, clothes change, doesn't have that weird fringe on the top, has just the plain old, you know what, let me make sure that you're a absolute nothing. There we go. Okay, now you don't have a profession anymore. So plains, and you have these cool, super duper cool red like jacket thing. Okay, so that is the savanna. Now let's look at the taiga. Taiga has a leather thing across the top, brownish, blackish boots, a little bit of wool, and still that green cap. Now let's go to snowy. Snowy has blue accents, blue sleeves, a blue cap, a little bit of green, a little bit of, you can see a little bit of blue, brown shoes. By the way, the snowy biome is for snowy tundra and snowy taiga. Next is jungle. Jungle has these like ocelot sort of things along it. Pretty interesting. Has a weird little sash of ocelot. Has ocelot thing on the top. Next is swamp. And swamp has these cool, super duper cool purple sleeves and a little mushroom on the bottom. And the top is like a leaf or possibly a turtle, but really I think it's a leaf because you can kind of see the back, how it kind of points on the back. So that's a little bit of an idea of the differences between the different biomes. Now let's take a look at the different professions. If there is something that sort of takes over the hat slot, a lot of times let's choose, let me just show this to you. If we have nothing, and I think it was the desert yeah, the desert has this cool little fringe right here. If anything takes up the hat slot, whoop, that fringe is gone. So you have a normal hat. But if you have something that doesn't take up the hat slot, like the Nitwit will have that fringe again. Same thing with a leather worker. They don't have a hat, but the butcher does have a little thing at the top. So kind of an interesting thing. Let's switch back to the plains just so we know what we're working with. So plains farmer has a hat on the top and a little pouch on the back. That's just really basically it. Next is the fisherman. Fisherman has an apron with some fish, and along the other side, I can't get past this barrier block, is a net. This net along the side, and then the fish, and then has this little half hat, where his little domey head fits all the way through. We can take a look at that in a few different, like the savanna, desert, plains, taiga. Okay, they all have a green hood. Every one of them has a little green hood. So there you go. Next is the shepherd. The shepherd has a wool sort of vest thing that goes along the top, and another half hat that his domey little head pokes through. Next is the Fletcher. The Fletcher has a little bit of a leather band, but it has no bill. It has no thing that goes away from his head. He has, like, it looks like flint or something up there. He has an arrow in the bottom, and in the back he has a quiver of bows. So that is what the Fletcher looks like. Next is the librarian. The librarian has some glasses, and these glasses look like they look like Benjamin Franklin glasses, to be honest. A sash, so almost like a Roman style sash, and a cool little cap on the top of his head. And I may say, this almost looks like a fez. Almost. It's almost a fez. It's pretty super duper awesome. Next is the cartographer. The cartographer has a monocle on his head. Just super duper amazing gold monocle. And the cartographer has a pouch with like maps basically in it. And this is just a strapped pouch that goes around from one shoulder. Pretty super duper cool. Next is the cleric. Cleric has the orange robes with really nothing else. Oh, cool. I didn't notice that before. It has a super awesome creeper on the back. If you switch between the different areas, that doesn't change. So remember that the layer on top really doesn't change much. It's just or doesn't change at all. It's just the layer on the bottom. Next, let's look at the armorer. The armorer has a cool little cap on the top of his head. This almost looks like some type of welding instrument. Let me switch back to plains here so we can get something consistent. The plains, so he has that cool little hat. It almost looks like a welding mask. Has some cool leather gloves, a leather vest thing, and a hammer with 2 dots in it. Moving on from the armor to the weaponsmith, you'll notice that the apron doesn't change all that much. The apron is basically the same in the front, except that his little things on his shoulder pads, those are missing, and the gloves change. Also, the weaponsmith has a eye patch. They lost an eye. Also, a different hammer on the back. It is missing those 2 little dots, and it is a little bit of a different shape. Next is the toolsmith. Toolsmith has both eyes, similar apron, not exactly the same, but it adds basically a little tool between the armor, weaponsmith, and the toolsmith. Toolsmith gets a little bit of a tool right there. And the same type of hammer as the weaponsmith. So that is the smith's hammer, almost. Next is the mason. A mason would normally lay bricks. The mason has a black vest, nothing on the back, and a little itty bitty hammer, a little mason hammer in his front pocket. Next is the butcher. The butcher has a white apron, a few tools, and a knife thing in his little loop right there, and a little sweatband along the top. Next is the leather worker. Leather worker has a leather schmuck and a knife also in the back of that leather worker. No leather thing along the top. And then the poor old nitwit. Nitwit gets a green cloak that's tattered along the bottom with the green hood. And so this is what it looks like in Savannah and Taiga and Snowy. Same green thing on the top that's all tattered. Just that's all the nitwit gets. And then you can see the no data. This is just the base skin. So I'm not going to go through what each of them look like in each like desert. You know, you can imagine that the farmer has the same type of hat. Savannah, same thing. So we're not going to go through all of those, but that is basically every single villager style skin in the game. Hope you enjoyed that. I think that the new villagers look absolutely beautiful, beautimous, absolutely great. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure that you subscribe for future videos, tips, tricks, tutorials, and spotlights. Also, give this video a like if you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time on OMG Craft. Bye.